It is I, your host this week for the Marvelite podcast, episode 133. And with me, we have a couple regulars. We have my co-host, Luke. Say hi, Luke.
Who? Hello.
Exactly. Luke who? Luke where? Luke why? We also have Nick returning.
Yes, I'm back.
He's back. And we also have Aaron returning. It's weird. Every time Aaron's here, Mikey isn't. Mikey is here, Aaron isn't. It's like you guys are the same person.
Aaron is back in black.
Uh-huh.
Yeah.
There he goes. Mikey should be here in the next couple of weeks. I'm hoping we'll get you two on the same show at once.
I'm here.
But anyways, there is also kind of a topic that spins out from that related to Guardians 3. Nick, you got the news on that? It has to do with Chris Pratt and the gun script.
Yeah, Chris Pratt did an interview recently with Josh Horowitz over at MTV News, and basically he asked him about will James Gunn's script be used, because like there's so many questions that are up in the air with that movie now, since it's pretty much been delayed for who knows how long. And more or less he said yes, the script's going to be used, he's read it, but I think the big question is like how much of it will be used, because like by the time they get a new director, it's been like a year or two later, like when they start shooting it. So, I mean, who knows how much changed in Marvel's plans and stuff too.
Yeah, and so like my biggest thing is like, are they going to pull an Ant-Man like what they did with Edgar Wright? Like they still credited Edgar Wright in the credits,
yeah.
But basically they just really used like the main, like just a shell of his original script. So like they technically used his script, but it, like a giant chunk of it had been rewritten for the film, and so like there was a lot of stuff that had changed. And honestly, I would have loved to have seen Edgar Wright's version of Ant-Man, and I think I would like to have seen James Gunn's original script for Guardians 3. I don't think that they're probably going to use it, but it's going to be probably in the same light that they use Edgar Wright's for Ant-Man.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah. It's probably the way that's going to go. Yeah, but I mean, I guess at least they're using the script, but you know, it's not going to be 100% the same, because it's not going to be the gunman behind the wheel.
Well, and you know, like like honestly, like Guardians 2 was a fine enough film. It just wasn't like what I feel like it should have been. It could have been a lot better, and it was kind of a letdown in some regards. Good film, it's just not great. You know, like I don't hold it as like one of the best MCU films by any stretch of the imagination. It was kind of like, for a sequel, it definitely did not hold up to the first film.
I mean, I have my... I don't think it's a bad movie. I do have just my reasons why it's hard for me to enjoy, and it has to. I've spoken about it before. Just ego, just how he went about his evil plan really rubbed me the wrong way, and I don't know why. Because it's not like he's that far different from any other villain, but just I don't know why it just felt didn't sit with me well. But I think it's just a
weird movie.
Kurt Russell would have been better as Jason of Spartax.
I mean, he was the acting wasn't the problem, and the writing wasn't really the issue. It's just like thinking about the fact that like he claims to have loved Peter's mom and then gave her a brain tumor, and just the implications behind that are really staggering and disturbing. Because it's like, so you mean to tell me you let this woman like suffer in pain in chemo for like probably 20 years or like 10, 15 years? And Peter grew up like not knowing who his dad was, and everyone thought his mom was insane, and she just suffered and died a sad death.
Yeah, pretty much.
Like that just was really unsettling for me, and it kind of made it hard for me to enjoy the movie.
Yeah, so like I'm just curious to know exactly what Gunn's script looks like now and what they're going to change, and you know it's gonna be a long time after Guardians 3 comes out. Where we actually know what the film's going to be. It took a long time for us to know what Edgar Wright's film was going to be for Ant-Man. And I feel like, you know, James Gunn probably isn't going to speak out on what Guardians 3 would have been for a really long time to come. So
yeah,
we're just not going to really know. I mean, I know that, you know, Pratt says that, oh yeah, we're using his script, but it's not going to be like the James Gunn script. It's going to be rewritten. You know?
Which I'm sure that's pretty standard, and of course, new director, new creative team. But Nick, Aaron, do you have any thoughts on that before we move on?
Aaron, what are your thoughts on the gunning?
All guns ahead.
The gunning.
The gunning.
Man, it sucks. So, like, I want Guardians of the Galaxy to be, a James Gunn movie, but sadly, man, that's not gonna happen. I know Taika Waititi was like, "I'm not doing that, staying away from that jazz," because he was
Smart
like,
man.
smart man, yeah. But I'm curious who's gonna want to take that spot, because none of the Marvel directors are gonna want to touch it because they're either have some affiliations with James or they're friends with him personally. And then the Guardians have publicly said that they want James Gunn back. So that's going to be a little awkward for them going into production. And is Drax coming back? Is Dave Bautista coming back to the franchise? And if not, what are they going to do with his character?
Yeah, I feel like he's not going to come back. Like, something will happen in Endgame.
Killed off screen.
Yeah, because it seems like he really, like, hates Disney or something after the whole, like, gun firing.
Yeah, he seemed very cross with Disney over
They might just not even bring Drax back.
Which, I mean, they can easily do, because, however they decide to reverse the snap, they can just not have him come back and just be like, we couldn't bring back everybody. Casualties of Infinity War.
Yeah.
Disney left a quarter of orange juice in his fridge, and that's why he's so salty.
But yeah, if you got comments or questions, concerns, random bullshit to say about Goose the cat not being a super scroll, which we know, just leave it down below with the hashtag AskMarvelite. So that's the show. Where can the people find you at, Aaron?
If you look really hard, you can find me in your refrigerator. You can find me behind your grandma at church.
What?
You can find me slinging some street meat at your local corner. But if you're looking for me on social media, you can find me on Instagram at The Real Aaron Alexander.
You're blowing out grandma backs. Nick, where can people find you at?
You guys can find me on social media, Twitter, Instagram at who's_Nick.
Luke, where can people find you at?
You guys can find me on Twitter at QuantumXParadox.
And I've been your host. You can find me on my own YouTube page as well as my Instagram page at Will the Greatest. We'll see you guys next time. Have a good one. Leave comments.